The hands gripping my wrists were nothing like I expected. Cold, demanding, possessive in a way that made my breath catch and my heart hammer against my ribs like a trapped bird. "You're mine now," he whispered against my neck, his voice rough with an edge I didn't recognize. His breath was hot on my skin as he pressed me harder against the floor-to-ceiling window of our honeymoon suite. Below us, Seoul glittered like scattered diamonds, but all I could focus on was the man behind me, my husband, Kang Mi-ho. Except, something felt wrong. "Mi-ho," I stammered, my palms flat against the cold glass. "We don't have to rush. I've waited long enough." His grip tightened, sending a shiver down my spine that was equal parts fear and something I didn't want to name. "Do you have any idea what you do to me, Park Saiwoo?" This wasn't how I imagined my wedding night would go. 6 hours earlier. "Stop fidgeting, Saiwoo. You look perfect." I glanced at Haein through the mirror as she adjusted my boutonniere for the 3rd time. My best friend had outdone herself with the wedding planning, even if this whole marriage was more business arrangement than love story. "I haven't even met him properly, Haein," I whispered, watching guests filter into the venue through the dressing room door. "We've only spoken twice. Video calls arranged by our parents." "That's how these things work in powerful families," she said, squeezing my shoulder. "Besides, Kang Mi-ho seemed nice in those calls. Sweet even. His family's architecture firm merging with your father's design company makes sense. And who knows? Maybe you'll actually fall in love." I wanted to believe her. During our brief video conversations, Mi-ho had been warm, soft-spoken, a little shy. He'd smiled when I nervously rambled about my interior design projects. So why did my stomach twist with anxiety? The ceremony passed in a blur of camera flashes and polite applause. Mi-ho stood beside me at the altar, looking handsome in his tailored suit, his hand gentle when it held mine during our vows. His eyes were kind when they met mine. "I'll take care of you, Saiwoo," he murmured during our first dance, so quietly only I could hear. "I know this isn't conventional, but I want to make you happy." Relief flooded through me. Maybe this wouldn't be so bad after all. At the reception, I barely saw him, pulled in different directions by family obligations and business associates. By the time we were supposed to leave for our honeymoon suite at the hotel penthouse, I was exhausted and nervous, my tie loosened and hair slightly disheveled. "He already went up," Doyen, one of the Kang family's secretaries, informed me with an odd expression I couldn't quite read. He said he had some urgent business calls to finish. Business calls on our wedding night. I tried not to feel disappointed. The suite was dark when I entered, only the city lights filtering through the massive windows. My hands trembled as I loosened my tie further, poured myself a glass of wine from the bar, and tried to calm my racing thoughts. This was it. My wedding night. With a man I barely knew. I heard the bedroom door open behind me. Footsteps. Slow, deliberate. "Mi-ho." I turned. He stood in the shadows, his silhouette broad and imposing. Something about his posture was different, more predatory, more intense. He'd removed his jacket, his white shirt unbuttoned at the collar. "Drinking without me?" His voice was deeper than I remembered, with an edge that made my skin prickle. "I was just nervous," I admitted, setting down the glass with shaking hands. "Today was overwhelming." He moved closer, and I caught a whiff of expensive cologne mixed with something darker. Whiskey, maybe. His eyes, even in the dim light, seemed to burn into me with an intensity that hadn't been there during the ceremony. "Nervous." He reached out, fingers gripping my chin to tilt my face up. The touch was firm, almost rough. "Of me." "No, I just..." "Good." His thumb traced my lower lip, and my breath hitched. "Because there's no reason to be afraid, Saiwoo. I'll take very good care of you." The words were similar to what he'd said during our dance, but the delivery was completely different. This wasn't gentle reassurance, it was a promise wrapped in dark velvet. Before I could process what was happening, he pulled me toward the window, spinning me to face the glittering cityscape. His body pressed against my back, solid and unyielding. "Beautiful view," he murmured against my ear, hands sliding to my waist. "But not as beautiful as you. Mi-ho, we should talk first, get to know each other better. We have a lifetime for talking." His lips brushed my neck and I gasped. "Right now, I want to claim what's mine. The words sent warning bells through my mind even as my traitorous body responded to his touch. This aggressive possessiveness didn't match the gentle man I'd met in video calls or the sweet husband who'd danced with me earlier. But maybe I didn't know him at all. Maybe this was who Kang Mi-ho really was. His hands were everywhere, demanding, insistent, leaving marks of ownership on my skin. And despite my confusion, despite the voice in my head screaming that something was wrong, I couldn't deny the fire he ignited in my veins. That night, I gave myself to a man I thought was my husband. I wouldn't learn the truth for weeks. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the windows, warm on my face. I stirred, body aching in unfamiliar ways, and reached across the bed. Empty. I sat up, pulling the sheets around myself, and looked around the suite. No sign of him. The bedroom door opened, and Mi-ho walked in carrying a tray of breakfast, his smile soft and almost shy. "Good morning," he said gently, setting the tray on the bedside table. "I'm so sorry I had to work late last night and missed." He paused, noticing my expression. "Saiwoo? Are you all right?" I stared at him, my blood running cold. "Missed? What did he mean, missed?" "You were here last night," I said slowly. His cheeks flushed pink. "I wish I had been. I felt terrible leaving you alone on our wedding night, but that client emergency couldn't wait. I slept in the other room so I wouldn't disturb you when I finally finished around 3 a.m. He reached for my hand, his touch feather-light and warm. "I promise I'll make it up to you." The room spun. If Mi-ho had been working all night, then who had I slept with? I couldn't breathe. 3 weeks into my marriage and I was losing my mind. "Saiwoo, are you even listening?" Haein waved her hand in front of my face across the cafe table. "You've been spacing out for the past 10 minutes. Sorry, I wrapped my hands around my coffee cup, seeking its warmth. Things have been strange at home. Strange how? She leaned forward, concern creasing her forehead. How could I explain it? How could I tell her that some mornings my husband brought me tea and asked sweetly about my day, while other mornings he'd pull me back into bed with rough hands and possessive kisses, demanding I cancel my work appointments? That sometimes Mi-ho's touch was gentle as a whisper, and sometimes it burned like fire? "He's just inconsistent," I finally said. "Mood swings, maybe?" Haein's eyes narrowed, but before she could respond, my phone buzzed. "Mi-ho, working late tonight. Don't wait up. Love you." I stared at the message. "Love you." He'd started saying that last week. The gentle version of him, at least. The other version never said it. He just showed up, took what he wanted, and left me trembling and confused. That evening, I was reviewing design plans in our home office when I heard the front door open. My body tensed automatically, waiting to see which version of my husband would walk through. "Saiwoo." His voice was soft, tired. "Gentle Mi-ho." The relief and disappointment warred in my chest, a combination that made me hate myself. He appeared in the doorway, loosening his tie, his smile warm. "You're still working?" "It's past 9. Just finishing up." I saved my files, watching as he crossed the room and pressed a kiss to the top of my head. Tender. "How was your day?" "Exhausting." The client kept changing requirements. He knelt beside my chair, taking my hand. "But coming home to you makes everything better." My heart ached. This Mi-ho, this gentle, considerate man, was exactly what I should want. So why did part of me crave the other one? The one who'd pushed me against the wall yesterday morning and kissed me until I forgot my own name? "Let me make you dinner," he offered, squeezing my hand. "You don't have to." "I want to." His eyes were so sincere, so full of quiet affection. "Let me take care of you." But the next morning, everything changed again. I woke to hands gripping my hips, pulling me back against a solid chest. The touch was demanding, possessive, nothing like the gentle caresses from the night before. "Mi-ho," I mumbled, still half asleep. "Who else would it be?" His voice was rough, dangerous. Teeth grazed my shoulder. "You're not going to work today." "What?" "I have a client meeting." "Cancel it." His grip tightened, and heat pooled in my stomach despite my confusion. "I want you here. With me." "I can't just cancel." He spun me around, pinning me beneath him, his eyes dark and intense. You're my husband, Saiwoo. Not some client's interior designer. Mine. This possessiveness should have scared me. Should have made me angry. Instead, my body responded with shameful eagerness, and I hated myself for it. I need to work, I insisted, even as my hands fisted in his shirt. I have responsibilities. His laugh was low, almost cruel. Fine. But you'll be thinking about me all day. About this. He kissed me hard, claiming my mouth like he owned it. About us. When he finally released me, I was breathless and late for my meeting. Saiwoo, what the hell is that? I froze as Haein grabbed my wrist during our lunch meeting later that week. She'd pushed up my sleeve, revealing the bruises, fingerprints, really, that marked my skin. It's nothing, I said quickly, pulling away. That's not nothing. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Is Miho hurting you? No. God, no. It's not like that. My face burned. He's just passionate sometimes. Passionate or possessive? She studied my face. Saiwoo, you look exhausted. You've lost weight. And you seem scared of your own phone half the time. She wasn't wrong. I'd started dreading message notifications, never knowing which version of Miho would be texting me. Would it be sweet messages about dinner plans, or commanding texts demanding I come home immediately? I swallowed hard. I think something might be wrong with him. Personality disorder, maybe? Or extreme stress from work. Haein's expression softened. Have you talked to him about it? How? Hey honey, sometimes you're a completely different person? He'd think I'm crazy. Or maybe he needs help, she said gently. Mental health issues are real, Saiwoo. If you love him. I don't know if I do. The admission burst out before I could stop it. I don't even know who he is, Haein. Some days I think I could love him. Other days I'm terrified and aroused and confused all at once. That night, I decided to confront him. Gentle Miho had come home with flowers. White roses, my favorites. He'd made dinner, lit candles, created the perfect romantic atmosphere. And as we sat across from each other, his hand reaching for mine, I couldn't hold it in anymore. Miho, I need to ask you something. Anything. His smile was open, genuine. Do you remember everything we do together? He blinked, confused. What do you mean? Our conversations. Things that happened between us. My heart pounded. Like yesterday morning when you told me not to go to work. His brow furrowed. Yesterday morning? Saiwoo, I left early for a breakfast meeting. I didn't see you until dinner. The room tilted. But you were there. You? I couldn't finish. Couldn't tell him about the possessive touches, the demanding kisses. I was at the office by 7. He pulled out his phone, showing me his calendar. See? Meeting with the investors. I even sent you a good morning text. Don't you remember? I did remember the text. Sweet and simple. Good morning, beautiful. Have a great day. But I also remembered the man in our bed who definitely hadn't been at any breakfast meeting. Saiwoo. Miho's voice was concerned now. Are you feeling all right? You look pale. I'm fine, I lied, my mind racing. Just tired. But I wasn't fine. Because either I was losing my mind, or something was terribly, impossibly wrong. That night, as gentle Miho held me close, whispering sweet promises in my ear, I made a decision. I would figure out what was happening, even if the truth destroyed everything. I just didn't realize how soon that truth would shatter my entire world. The next evening, Miho's secretary Doyen called me. Park Saiwoo-sasai. His voice was tight with urgency. We need to talk. About your husband. Meet me tomorrow at... The line went dead. I stared at my phone, dread coiling in my stomach. What did Doyen know? And why did his voice sound like a warning? The conference hall was packed with Seoul's business elite, all gathered for the annual Architecture and Design Expo. I hadn't wanted to come, but my father insisted. Networking was essential for our merged companies. I stood near the refreshments, nursing a glass of champagne and half listening to an elderly architect drone on about sustainable materials, when I saw him. Mio, my husband. He was across the room, speaking with a group of investors, his posture confident and commanding. He wore a black suit I'd never seen before, his expression cold and calculating as he gestured sharply during conversation. Relief flooded through me. At least I knew where he was tonight. Don't you think, Saiwu SSI? Yes, absolutely, I replied absently to the architect, my eyes still on Miho. Then my blood turned to ice. Another man walked into my line of vision, joining the group Miho was speaking with. He wore a gray suit, his posture relaxed and warm, smiling as he shook hands with the investors. The man was identical to my husband. The champagne glass slipped from my fingers, shattering on the marble floor. Saiwu SSI, are you all right? I couldn't speak. Couldn't breathe. My vision tunneled as I stared at the two men, two identical men, standing 15 feet apart, neither acknowledging the other's existence. Twins. My husband had a twin brother. The room spun. Voices blurred into white noise. All I could see were those two faces, the same face that had smiled sweetly at me over breakfast, the same face that had pinned me against walls with possessive hunger. Oh God. I need air, I gasped, stumbling toward the exit. Behind me, I heard someone call my name, but I was already running. I don't remember getting home. Don't remember the taxi ride or unlocking the apartment door. I only remember collapsing on the couch, my entire body shaking as the truth crashed over me in waves. I hadn't been sleeping with one man. I'd been sleeping with two. The gentle touches, the rough demands, the inconsistent memories, none of it was mental illness or mood swings. It was two different people. Two different men taking turns in my life, in my bed, in my body. The front door opened. Saiwu. Gentle voice. Concerned. I got your text that you left the expo early. Are you sick? Miho, one of them, walked in, loosening his gray tie. The same gray suit from the expo. I stood on trembling legs, backing away as he approached. Don't come near me. He froze, confusion and hurt flashing across his face. Saiwu, what's wrong? Who are you? My voice cracked. Are you Miho or whoever the hell else has been pretending to be my husband? His face went pale. What are you talking about? I saw you both. The words exploded out of me. At the expo. Two of you. Identical. So tell me, which one are you? The silence that followed was deafening. Then his shoulders sagged, and I watched my gentle husband crumble. I'm Miho, he whispered. Kong Miho. Your actual husband. And the other one? My twin brother. Juno. The whole story came out over the next hour. Miho sat across from me, his hands shaking as he explained how he had a twin brother, how they'd been estranged for years due to family business conflicts, how Juno ran a separate company in Seoul. I didn't know, Miho said, his voice breaking. Saiwu, I swear I didn't know he was impersonating me. I thought, God, I thought you were just adjusting to the marriage, that you needed space sometimes. How could you not know? I was shaking with rage and betrayal. How could you not notice that your twin was sleeping with your husband? We haven't spoken in 3 years. He wasn't even invited to the wedding. Miho stood, running his hands through his hair. I need to call him. I need to. He's already here. We both spun toward the door. The other one stood there, Juno, his key card dangling from his fingers. He must have copied Miho's. His suit was black now, his expression dark and unapologetic as he stepped inside. Took you long enough to figure it out, Juno said, his eyes locked on me. I was wondering when you'd catch on. You bastard, Miho lunged forward, but I held up a hand. Why? I demanded, my voice cold despite the tears streaming down my face. Why would you do this? Juno's jaw tightened. Because I wanted you. The simple statement hung in the air like a bomb. When I saw the wedding photos, he continued, moving closer, when I saw you standing next to my brother, smiling in that suit, something in me snapped. His voice dropped, dangerous and honest. Miho always got everything. The family business, father's approval, the perfect arranged marriage. But for once, I wanted what was his. I'm not a possession. I know that now. He was right in front of me, and I hated how my body still responded to his proximity. But I couldn't stay away. That first night, I told myself I'd just see you, just look at what Miho had won. But you were so beautiful, so nervous, and I? You violated him, Miho snarled, pulling me away from Juno. You violated our marriage, our trust. Did I? Juno's eyes never left mine. Tell him, Saiwu. Tell him how you responded to my touch. How you arched into my hands, gasped my name like a prayer. Stop, I whispered, shame burning through me. Tell him how you're not sure which one of us you want. Get out, Miho roared, but Juno just smiled, that cruel, knowing smile that had haunted my dreams. I'll leave, but ask yourself something, little brother. Ask yourself why Saiwu never questioned the difference. Why he never pushed me away. He looked at me one last time. Your body knows me, Saiwu. It knows what we have. Then he was gone, leaving devastation in his wake. I packed my bags that night while Miho begged me to stay. We can work through this, he pleaded. Therapy, counseling, Saiwu, please. I love you. I don't even know you, I said numbly, zipping my suitcase. And worse, I don't know myself anymore. Where will you go? Hands. I need time. To think. To figure out what the hell I'm feeling. Because Juno had been right about one thing. I wasn't sure which one I wanted. And that truth terrified me most of all. You need to eat something. Heian set a bowl of soup in front of me, but I just stared at it. I'd been staying at her apartment for 2 weeks, and I still felt hollow, like someone had scooped out my insides and left only confusion behind. My phone buzzed for the 100th time that day. Miho, please come home. I miss you. We can start over. Juno, stop running. You know where you belong. 2 men. 2 different approaches. Both claiming they wanted me. You have to make a decision eventually, Heian said gently, sitting across from me. You can't hide here forever. I don't know how to choose. I finally looked up at her. Miho is everything I should want. Kind, patient, understanding. He's offering me a real marriage, therapy, time to heal. But Juno, I closed my eyes. He makes me feel alive in ways I didn't know I could feel. Dangerous, yes. Possessive, absolutely. But there's this fire between us that I can't deny. Passion isn't love, Saiwu. I know that, but safety isn't love either. Miho showed up the next evening. I heard voices at the door, Heian letting him in, and then he was standing in the living room, holding a portfolio. I'm not here to pressure you, he said softly. I just wanted to show you something. He opened the portfolio, spreading designs across Heian's coffee table. They were architectural plans, beautiful and intricate. A house with floor-to-ceiling windows, an art studio with perfect natural lighting, gardens designed for quiet contemplation. I've been working on this since our engagement, Miho explained. A home for us. I designed every room thinking about you, your love of light, your need for creative space, places where you could feel peaceful and inspired. His voice cracked. I know I can't compete with what Juno makes you feel. I know I'm not exciting or dangerous. But I can offer you something real, Saiwu. Something built on respect and partnership, and he took a shaky breath. And love. The kind that grows slowly but lasts forever. Tears blurred my vision. Miho, I'm not asking for an answer now. I just needed you to know that I see you. Not as a prize to be won or a possession to be claimed, but as a person I want to build a life with. On your terms. At your pace. He left the portfolio and walked out, leaving me staring at his dreams for our future. Juno came that night. I was alone. Heian had gone to her mother's, when I heard the knock. I should have known better than to open the door. He pushed inside the moment I unlocked it, backing me against the wall with familiar intensity. 2 weeks, Saiwu. 2 weeks of watching you hide from what we have. We don't have anything, I said, but my voice shook. It was all a lie. Was it? His hand cupped my face, thumb tracing my cheekbone. Was this a lie? He kissed me hard and demanding, and my traitorous body responded immediately. Tell me you don't feel this. Feeling isn't enough. It's everything. He pressed his forehead to mine. Miho can offer you pretty houses and patient understanding. But I offer you truth, raw, messy, real truth. I want you so badly it consumes me. I think about you every moment. I would burn the world down to keep you. That's not love, Juno. That's obsession. Maybe. His smile was sharp. But at least it's honest. At least I'm not pretending to be some perfect gentleman when what I really want is to keep you so close that no one else can ever touch you. You need help, I whispered. Probably. He kissed my forehead, surprisingly gentle. But I'm not giving up on us, Saiwoo. When you're ready to stop lying to yourself about what you want, I'll be waiting. The decision came 3 days later, in the most unexpected way. I was at my office, finally back to work, trying to reclaim some normalcy, when Juno's secretary Doyen burst in. You need to come with me. Now. What? Why? Juno's in trouble. Business rivals found out about his obsession with you. They're using it against him, threatening to hurt you to get leverage. He's meeting them alone. My heart stopped. Where's Miho? Already there. Come on. We arrived at an abandoned warehouse. Cliché, I know, but apparently some business deals happen in terrible locations. To find Miho and Juno standing side by side for the first time, facing 3 men with weapons. This is touching, one of the men sneered. The Kong twins together at last. Hand over the merger documents, or your little husband becomes a liability we eliminate. Everything happened so fast. Juno moved first, stepping in front of me. Then Miho shielding both of us. For the first time since I'd learned the truth, they were working together, not as rivals, but as brothers protecting something they both cared about. The police arrived, Doyen had called them, and the situation resolved without violence. But standing there, watching these 2 identical men who couldn't be more different inside, I finally understood. Sunset painted the sky orange and pink as I stood between them in the empty warehouse. I need to tell you both something, I said, my voice steady despite my racing heart. They waited, mirror images of tension and hope. I turned to one of them, the one whose hand I'd been unconsciously gravitating toward throughout the ordeal, and took it in mine. I choose the one who makes me feel like myself, I whispered. Then I kissed Miho. His arms came around me, gentle but secure, and I felt something click into place. Not fire or obsession, but home. The kind of love that would let me breathe, grow, become who I was meant to be. When I pulled back, Juno's expression was unreadable. I'm sorry, I said to him. What we had was intense. But intensity isn't what I need. I need someone who sees me as a partner, not a possession. Juno stared at me for a long moment, then smiled, sad but genuine. I understand. He started to walk away, then paused. But Saiwoo? This isn't over. You'll realize eventually that playing it safe isn't the same as being happy. And when you do, he looked back over his shoulder, I'll be waiting. 6 months later, Miho and I moved into the house he designed. We started therapy, both couples and individual. Slowly, carefully, we built something real from the ashes of deception. I was happy, truly happy, until the text came on a random Tuesday evening. Unknown number, I'm not giving up on us. You'll realize you made the wrong choice. Look outside. My blood ran cold. I moved to the window and saw a figure standing across the street, illuminated by the streetlight. Juno. Watching. Waiting. And despite everything, despite my choice, my therapy, my genuine love for Miho, part of me shivered with something that wasn't quite fear. The game, it seemed, was far from over.